the tape for this, our main event of the evening. We introduce the champion, Chris, the West Side Strangler Brennan. Let's get it on!
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. We are here to go over UFC 304 in Manchester, England. Super excited about this card. I know it's been a while since we've been on here, so
it's been a minute.
Bear with us.
No, that's good. It's like riding a bike, man.
Perfect.
You wanted to hit one fight in the undercard, and
Yep.
then you wanted to just do 4 out of the 5 on the main card.
Yep.
But before we even get into that, did you want to talk about the new rule that's coming out in October?
Yeah, unfortunately, it'll be before this. It's going to be after this, and it'll also be just before Victor Altamirano, who fights for us. He's fighting on the UFC Paris card.
Okay.
And it is the week after his fight that the rule changes. So the new proposed rule change, which sounds like it's passed, the 12-6 elbows are legal now.
That's fantastic.
So there's no this. You can throw
11:59 is cool,
Right.
but 12 is out.
And the refs will tell you that at the rules meeting.
Yeah.
Just put a little arc on it. It's good. But now there's no discrepancy. You just throw it now, so you don't have to worry about that. And so that's a great thing. People are calling for John Jones to get his DQ or his no contest overturned or lost. I think it was. I'm not sure.
I think it's no contest because I don't think
No,
it's
they call it a loss.
Do they call it a loss?
Yeah, it's his one loss. And so, but I'm like, it's like if they change the speed limit somewhere after you get a ticket there, you can't go back, and otherwise that would just trickle down to the entire world, right?
Yeah.
So it's a loss. Now, Tim Elliott's fight in Abu Dhabi, remember when his opponent was playing the hand game, and they stopped it, and it disrupted the fight. Well, now, hands down, both hands down on the mat is not a downed opponent. You can still knee and kick that guy in the face. He could be on his elbows, and he's not down until a knee is down. So he has to have a knee down in order to be a downed opponent now. So like I told you before, that's not knees to the head on the ground, but it is close to the ground. I believe it's going to force people to play jiu-jitsu. It's either going to make them re-wrestle hard to finish a takedown, or they're going to be forced to sit down so they don't get kneed in the head.
Sure.
And I feel like it's gonna, if it pushes the jiu-jitsu way, that'll make Dana frown because he's all about excitement.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great rule. When their knee is on the ground, their head's a lot lower, so you don't have to look and see before you knee them in the head if they're playing that hand game. You'll know when their hands are down and when a knee's down, their head's 6 inches to a foot lower.
Sure.
So you can, if they're playing the hands down, you can throw knees until they drop down to their knee. And at that point, you've now got control on the ground.
Give me an example of a fighter that's happy about this rule, and maybe an example of a fighter that's not happy about this rule.
Man, I think anybody, any striker is going to be happy about the rule. Any grappler, I think. To be honest, everyone should be happy about this rule.
Okay.
It's if let's say you hypothetically have someone against the fence and you're beating them up while they're getting to their feet, now you don't have to wait until they're all the way up standing before you can throw a knee.
Yeah.
As soon as their knee leaves the ground, you're throwing knees to their head, so they're either back down on their knee, which is going to give you control, or they're really fast to get up. But it's gonna make a lot more interesting fights, I think, for sure.
That was my next question. The watchability factor. You think it goes up for?
Oh yeah.
The dude sitting at a bar on Saturday night.
It's going to be easier for the fighter, to not have to worry about it. And I also think it's going to make the referee's job way easier. Taking away the 12-6 and that hand game is going to make the referee's job way easier, so they don't have to, I felt bad for Jason Herzog that night. He is a friend of mine, and he messaged me after. We've talked about this before. If I wanted to talk about what went on, when he stopped the Tim fight to look and see if the knees were legal.
Yeah.
Well, they turned out they were legal and restarted them. They restarted them, not the exact position. And
good effort, but not there.
Yes. But it definitely disrupted the pace of the fight, and it happened twice.
Yeah.
And the guy, the fight was Muhammad Makayev. was the guy who played the game, and he did it again in another fight after that. And I'm like, man, they've got to change this, So I'm happy that they are finally changing it. Josh Thompson and John McCarthy have talked about it a lot. And John McCarthy's talked about it a lot because he was there when the rule went in to begin with. And I think it was the year 2000, when the 12-6 elbow rule change was, and maybe the knees at the same time. I'm not sure if the knee was the same time, but the elbow was since 2000.
Yeah, Rogan
That's
has
a
said
24-year rule.
Rogan has said a lot that 12-6 elbow basically came from people watching videos of people breaking boards and stuff. And I don't know if that's true or not, but that's Rogan's
I heard that
assertion.
Too, breaking bricks and whatever.
Yeah.
But the knee to the head, or the shin bone to the head, if you're going to allow that, you got to allow the 12-6 elbows.
And I think there's an argument to be made that the Muay Thai elbow, the horizontal elbow as opposed to that probably is just as, if not more, devastating.
Yeah.
Because you're able to get your body, the torque of your body in on it.
The real dangerous 12-6 one is if I'm against the fence and I'm defending your shot and your head is here.
Yeah.
And I'm standing and I can come down this way
with
my weight.
But that's the back of the head then, right?
It depends on if their head's looking sideways on the takedown or if their head's straight down. If it's straight down, you can't hit the back of the head.
Yep.
And that still stands.
Yep.
So, we'll see. It'll be exciting to watch.
And you said that likely is going to come up in October.
October 1st is supposed to be the rule change date.
So we'll have to look and see what fights are coming up then and see how it changes. I mean, that could change if Chandler and Connor ever end up fighting. Who knows?
Right.
That that could play into that. It'll be interesting to see what types of
For sure.
fights.
And I'd like to see John Jones fight again and maybe just get right back to that same position on somebody and win that way just for the sake of winning that way.
John Jones, he's got his own demons that he's got to beat those outside the cage before he's going to do well inside the cage, unfortunately.
Every time he has a fight.
But it seems like if there was a fighter that would do that, it would be John Jones.
Yeah.
And he would do it just to show.
And I never watched his Matt Hamill fight, the one that he lost because of that. And he was clearly winning every minute of that fight.
Yeah.
And I talked to Lucas about it this morning, and I didn't realize he was mounted on him, throwing elbows this way from the mount, this way, and then was throwing them every once in a while downward elbow. And I was like, well, that's a dangerous position to throw 12-6s from, but it's a fight. So I'm glad the less rules for me, the better. The less rules, the more real it is, the more the less you have to train specifically around something. Because now we are instantly, as soon as we heard it, we went to the wall and started working on how do we get up. If we got taken down, how do we get up?
Yeah.
Without your hands, or with your knees, getting your knees off the ground.
Yeah.
But your hands don't matter, so your knees are almost the last thing that's going to come off the ground now.
Yep.
While you have to tie them up first and get up. There's a few different ways, but it'll change the way people have to get up.
And it's one knee.
Yeah. Once one knee's down, you're down.
Okay. So,
but like if let's say I'm getting up and I'm on all fours.
Yeah.
If I step one leg up.
Yeah.
And I go to stand up, my hands are coming off the mat before my other knee does, and you're gonna need.
Yeah.
So you have to come off the mat at the same time. I think we'll probably see a lot of replays early on and see if was that knee off the ground or was it on the ground. Just like we were with the hands, but. We'll see. It'll be interesting. I think it'll be exciting.
I'm glad to see the fight game evolve. The evolution of it. What's happening.
Only 24 years later.
Right. At least it's coming.
For sure.
Let's talk about the one undercard fight. Obviously, friend of the gym, friend of yours, Molly McCann is fighting Bruna Brazil.
Yeah.
What do you see here?
I'm excited, man. Molly, she trains out of Next Gen Liverpool, and I believe she's coming off of a win, and the girl she's fighting is coming off of a loss or two. I think she's 1-2 in the UFC right now, that girl.
So,
and I think Molly's 8-5 in the UFC.
Molly's coming off of 2 wins.
2 wins
in a row. She is coming off of a loss.
Bruna?
And Luma, yep.
Uh-huh.
And she's got 1, 2, 3. Looks like she's got 3 fights, and you're correct. She is 1-2 in those 3 fights.
So it's exciting. Molly's been working on her grappling a lot. The fight before her win, I think it was the one before, she lost by armbar. came back and won her next fight by armbar.
The last two, she won her next 2 fights by armbar.
Yeah, and so basically she's like, I'm obviously working on it. I'm getting better at it. And she has a lot of experience in the octagon now, 8-5, right? And the other girl is 1-2 in the UFC. So she's tough, but I think she's going to run into a big problem with Molly.
The last 2 losses Molly had were jiu-jitsu losses. You had the armbar that we talked
Erin
about.
Blanchfield
and
converted
then
her.
Erin Blanchfield converted her.
Yeah.
Has she been spending more time on the ground?
She has, and those were 2 of the top girls in the division. Erin Blanchfield is a stud in jiu-jitsu. And who was the other girl?
Hold on, I literally just popped away from it. Hold on, let me go back to it here real quick. Boma, no. Hold on. Oh, the other girl was Yulia Storylenko.
Oh, yeah. So she's
I
also
butchered that name.
Also very good. But Erin Blanchfield is, that's a fight that if it hits the ground, you're in trouble. You need to hang on until the next round, because even trying to get up with someone like that, you can run into a problem. So, I think she went back to the drawing board, started hammering down on jiu-jitsu. And she is originally a boxer, but she's at a gym that is really, really jiu-jitsu heavy. They all have good striking, but Paul, who's a black belt from me, is a very, very good jiu-jitsu guy and a very good jiu-jitsu and MMA coach. So I think, he probably was like, hey, we're in the UFC.
Yeah.
It's time to, hammer down on the jiu-jitsu and really put in the time to get better at least defending it. But now winning with 2 arm bars, she's obviously not just defending it. She's working on the offense side of it as well.
She a blue belt in jiu-jitsu?
No, she's a purple or a brown belt.
Purple or brown? Yeah. Okay. So she's leveling up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So who do you have in? I'm assuming you're going with
Molly.
Molly.
I'm going Molly, and I will probably go with by strikes.
Oh.
Yeah, I think she
after all
her.
This talk about ground, you think?
Yeah.
I
mean, she obviously has a good grappling background now, but at heart she's a striker, and she loves that spinning elbow.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. So we'll move to the first fight then on the main card. Arnold Allen and Giga Chikadze.
Yes.
This is a 45 fight, and you were super stoked to talk about this fight.
Yeah, I watch all the 45ers. I make sure to watch all the featherweights and do my homework on them. Arnold Allen is a stud. Giga Chikadze is a stud. That's going to be a great fight. I think Giga's got very good striking. Arnold has, I don't know what the reach is on him, but I feel like he's a longer. How tall is he?
5'8".
Oh,
reach is 70 for Arnold.
Okay, so not too long. It's 2 inches shorter than me and Luke in reach. What's Giga?
Just looking it up right now. Giga is 6 foot and he's got a 74 inch.
Okay,
reach.
so he has the reach for sure.
For sure.
He has a lot of wins by strikes, some knees, some head kicks. He's a good fighter, man. It's going to be a tough fight. I think they both have 3 losses. One's 15-3, and one is 16 or 18.
Giga's 15-3, and 19-3 for
19-3, yeah. So
and Giga's he's a baller. He's a dog on his feet. He's 9-0 when fights are decided by strikes.
Okay.
He's 1-1 when you go to submissions, and even at decisions, he goes 5-2.
Okay.
So the guy's a dog on his feet.
He is. I'm picking Giga to win the fight, but I think Arnold Allen will make it an exciting fight. He'll make it last. It won't be a first-round fight.
These guys, I'm excited to watch this.
Giga fights out of Georgia, the country, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, thought so.
So we'll skip to the one before the co-main. Bobby Green and Paddy Pimblett, another next-gen fighter.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see him on the main card.
Yeah, he's so huge step up in competition.
Bobby Green's no joke.
Yeah. He has a lot of losses. He's almost 500 in the UFC. I think he's like 2 fights away from being a 500 fighter in the UFC. But he's fought everybody in the UFC.
Yeah, his overall record is 32-15-1.
What's his UFC record?
UFC is 13-10.
Yeah, so 3 fights off of being a 500 fighter. However, when you watch someone like Bobby Green and look at the people he's fought, it's hard to be like, oh, you're a 500 fighter. He's fought the who's who of the division.
Jim Miller, Jalen Turner, Tony Ferguson, Jim Miller again, Islam Makhachev.
I think the Jim Miller before was a canceled bout, yeah?
No. There were 2 canceled, and he actually, he fought him in April of this year.
Yeah, that was Jim's last fight.
Yes.
Yeah, he's fought everybody. And he has, I don't want to say underestimated because people know, he has very clean boxing. Like straight boxing is very clean. Patty can strike. He's got good striking and probably better kicks and stuff, but my heart, he needs to get him to the ground. He needs to get him to the ground, beat him on the ground. I know Patty gets hit and says that Scousers don't get knocked out, and that's awesome. But stop giving guys chances to find out if that's true. You know what I mean? Like, get him to the ground, beat him up on the ground, submit him on the ground. The payday, will be the same. And so I think it's just important that he gets past this fight, and it'll change a lot of opinions of guys about him if he gets past Bobby Green and puts it on him.
Have you seen Patty's cut?
His weight cut?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen what he looks like right now?
I've seen him on this day before, and I've also seen him 4 months out. 2 weeks after his fight. It's wild.
I happened to catch something. There was a picture of him posted somewhere just really recently, and that dude is, he's got to be like 6.5% body fat.
Yeah.
He's just shredded.
Have you seen him big?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Bloated.
Wild. It is so crazy.
When I think about, in my mind, when I picture Paddy Pimblett and I picture Bobby Green, in my head, Bobby Green is more physically imposing. He seems scarier in my mind, but they're both the same height and they have almost identical reach.
How tall are they? 5'10"?
5'10".
Yeah.
Is that just me is my perception off? Is
Bobby?
that what that is?
I think he has. First of all, you've seen him in the cage with everybody.
Yeah.
You've seen him knock out really good guys. You've seen him. He got. I can't remember. Go to his Drew Dober fight. I think he.
How far back?
Did he lose to Drew Dober?
Not
too far back.
He did.
So he was piecing him up. He was hurting him, bloodying him, landing his jab was so clean, and then got caught against the fence and got knocked out. But it was a fight that he was completely dominating and looked fantastic. And so I just feel like unless Patty gets him late in the second or going into the third, where he's got him up against the fence and is able to land, I just think out in the open, especially being the same length, same range, I think he just has to be careful with the speed of Bobby Green.
Yeah.
And his clean boxing.
Bobby Green,
I think, has a clear path on the ground.
Okay.
But
he's got to get him there.
And he can.
Okay.
But will he decide to or not? I don't know.
Bobby Green's a busy man. Since 2022, this is the 9th time he's gotten the cage.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's a busy guy. Like, that's awesome.
When did Patty enter the UFC? He's 5-0 in the UFC right now.
5-0. Looks like his first fight in the UFC was 2021, September 2021.
Okay. So, in the same amount of time, a little bit more time, he's had 5 fights while Bobby Green had 9.
Yeah, it's a busy.
Bobby Green's buying houses for his family and kids. That's what he said.
Right.
He wants to buy a house and have it paid off for all of his kids and everyone in his family. I was like, all right, that's cool.
Good for him. So you're taking Patty then?
I am taking Patty.
As long as he's got to go by the script.
Right, and that's the money. I'm positive that Bobby Green's going to be the favorite on the betting lines. There's I feel like there's no question about that. But I feel like if Patty and Paul's smart, Paul's gonna have a great game plan. So I feel like he gets it done, but he needs to be sharp and on his game.
Co-main event. This one's going to be fun. Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blades. What do you make of Aspinall? Let's start there.
Man, I think he's the next guy.
Is he the real deal?
Yeah, there's no question he's a real deal. And it was Curtis Blades he hurt his knee on, right? Does he have a loss to Curtis Blades?
Let me look.
He came out and threw a kick and stepped back down and had tore his knee. And
I keep hitting the wrong thing.
And so that was a loss on his record. But otherwise, I think he's been running through the guys that he's fought in the UFC. He's got a lot of armbar finishes, TKO finishes.
Yes, you are correct. It was actually just almost exactly 2 years ago.
So this is a rematch. He wants to get off his, a loss to get off his record.
Yeah, he's 7-1 in the UFC, and he is 14-3 overall.
The only thing that Curtis Blades is better than him at is wrestling. And do you really want to take him down? I don't know that he wants to take him down. I don't know that he wants to try to take him down. I think Tom Aspinall is probably the most well-rounded heavyweight there is right now. I also think I would love to see him fight John Jones.
Really?
Yeah, and John's doing he hasn't earned a spot to fight me. Well, anybody who's up for the belt has earned a spot to fight you, right?
Yeah.
Whether you think you're the greatest of all time or not, whether he is the greatest of all time or not. If you have the belt and this guy's up for the title shot, then he earned a spot to fight you. So you don't get to decide, he didn't earn, that spot, because clearly he did, or he wouldn't be fighting now for the interim title while you're out, doing your legal bullshit that you do all the time. And anytime he gets a fight, like as soon as his camp starts, something happens legally. It's been that way for years with him.
I wanted to like John Jones so badly. Early, I listened to an interview with him on Rogan probably 4 years ago. And I listened to it, and I listened to him talk, and he talked about all the things. And I'm like, I feel like I can give this guy a pass. I feel like he's just had, he's made a couple of dumb mistakes, but he gets it. He understands. And that was 4 years ago, and since then he's done so. It was right after the hit and run with the car with the pregnant lady. And then after that, he just now I'm like, I can't, because
he put his hands on a stripper physically.
Yeah.
In the place, fired off a round in Vegas when he was at his Hall of Fame induction. Multiple things have happened with him, and tested positive for this, tested positive for that.
Yep.
Now got into a physical altercation, I guess, with the lady from the drug-free organization that was at his house doing the thing. I don't even know. I don't want to get into it all. He is definitely the best light heavyweight on the planet that there has been. Could he be the same as a heavyweight? Sure. He's only fought once at heavy, so you can't really say. I think as Dana White, he's Dana White's GOAT, right? He thinks he's the best of all time.
For sure.
I think someone like GSP, I think someone like even Mighty Mouse, but Anderson Silva, they had awesome runs as well. GSP, I just think, is the epitome of a greatest of all time, right? He had 2 losses. He redeemed both of them handily, and one was early on. The Matt Hughes one was early on, and came back and ran him over, and then got caught by Matt Serra, and came back and finished him as well. So he moved up a weight class. He won the belt there against Bisping, who had won the belt from Luke Rockhold. And that was after being off for 4 years, came back and did that. I just think, never tested positive for anything, never got accused of anything, never got arrested for anything, never, he was a consummate professional his entire career.
Yeah.
And, he was fantastic in the cage. What an amazing fighter. So he's my greatest of all time. But John Jones, I was not a fan of his at all. And then, to be honest, the fight that I thought he lost, his first fight that I thought he lost, was against Gus Gustafson. He was beat up, and then came back and showed that he had it. He wasn't just a bully. He could take an ass whooping and continue to fight back and win the next round.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, he's not just this guy. He's tough as shit. And so I was happy to see that, but I think he lost to Thiago Santos. Sorry, I think he lost to God. What's the guy's name that's in the Toyo Tires commercials? I always forget his name. I was just talking about him the other day because he went on a losing streak afterwards, and he just won when me and Luke and Tyler were in Vegas. We stopped by. We were walking and stopped by a TV and watched him win, and I was happy that he got a win because he needed it. What the heck is his name?
I was trying to see if I could pull up John Jones real quick, but it's not pulling up. But I know who it'll come to me.
Yeah. Anyway,
It'll come to me.
I thought he lost 3 fights in his career, and got the decision. So it is what it is. But, yeah.
Here we go.
I think Aspinall gives him a heck of a fight.
I was actually looking to see if
It's one of his last couple fights.
is it Reyes?
Yeah, Dominic Reyes. Sorry, Dominic. I don't know why that wasn't coming to me. But, yeah, I thought he lost that fight. I thought he lost the Thiago Santos fight, and I thought he lost the Alexander Gustafsson fight.
He's got an actual loss to Matt Hamill early in his career, 2009.
That was the DQ.
I think the DQ might have been against Cormier.
So that one.
That was because he popped.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The loss was, I guess, not a DQ.
Oh yeah, illegal downward elbows. Yep, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
So,
if you were to guess who's the bigger fighter, switching back, who's the bigger fighter, Aspinall or Blades? If you were to guess.
So looking at them, I think it looks like Blades, but I think Aspinall is a big dude. I think he is 6'5", 4'5", and big.
Yeah, so would you look at the last weigh-in, Aspinall weighs a couple more pounds more than Curtis Blades. 261, 257, I think.
What's he, height?
6'5".
Yeah, 6'5".
Aspinall's 6'5".
See, that's a big boy.
He doesn't move like a 6'5".
No, man, he's a very hybrid for a heavyweight.
Jeez. Okay, so who do you think walks away with the belt?
Aspinall for sure.
Okay. Is there a path where Blades can win this fight?
I mean, he would have to catch him with something heavy on the feet, which I don't see, or he would have to wrestle him for 3 rounds. 5. Is it 3 or 5? Oh, it's 5.
It's gonna be 5.
No, he doesn't win this fight, especially in Manchester.
Aspinall's a guy. He makes it really easy to root for him.
Oh yeah,
seems like a good dude.
Yeah,
a little bit. I was going to say a little bit like some of the things with GSP. I'm not comparing him to GSP,
but yes, I get
the likability factor. Main event of the night. This is the second time that Leon Edwards and Bilal Muhammad fight. This is 22-3 for Leon, 23-3 for Bilal Muhammad.
The only thing that makes this fight exciting is Leon Edwards.
Okay.
Bilal Muhammad, I think, has one finish since 2020 out of I don't know, 7 or 8 fights. He finishes two fights ago. He finished
Sean
Brady, yeah. And other than that, he's had a bunch of decisions for a while since 2020. He's not exciting to watch fight. He's good. He's tough. He's got good wrestling. He's got a good grind. But Leon Edwards over 5 rounds, I don't think he's able to do that to Leon Edwards for 5 rounds. And after watching Leon get up and defend takedowns and stuff against Kamaru Usman, I think...
And Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, but Usman's got the wrestling background.
For sure.
And a better striking background than Gilbert, as we saw in their fight. I think that Leon Edwards gets it done. I hope he gets a finish. I just don't know if he will. because Bilal's the king of decisions.
I might have lied to you. I was looking at Bilal's record, not Leon Edwards. I'm not sure that he actually fought Gilbert Burns.
Leon?
Yeah. I
Didn't.
Oh, hold on. Let me double check. I was actually looking at Bilal Muhammad's record when I said Gilbert Burns. So let me just fact check myself right here. Now, he did not fight Gilbert Burns. Not recently. That was Bilal Muhammad that beat Gilbert.
So I'd like to see him fight after beating Bilal Muhammad. I'd like to see him fight Colby Covington. I'd like to see him fight any of those other.
So I am on Leon. He just beat Colby Covington.
Was that his last fight?
That was his last fight.
Okay. So yeah,
December of last year.
So he's kind of beat everybody at the top of the division now. And he had a good what's his streak?
Oh gosh.
Long, right?
It's
9-10.
He's going back to 2016. He's had a number of canceled bouts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah. So I think he gets it done. The only way Bilal wins is by decision, and that would be terrible.
Yeah, that would be a really boring fight if it goes to a decision, because neither of them.
If it goes to a decision with Leon winning, it won't be boring. If it goes to a decision with Bilal winning, it is going to be a boring fight.
And so you are picking Leon to defend his title on this.
Yes.
Leon, I know we've talked about this when it happened. Leon shocked the world when he beat Usman the first time.
Yep.
Which fighter is he? Is Leon the fighter that fought? Is he the 4 rounds before the Usman, or the 4 rounds in 4 minutes?
Yeah.
Like, who is he?
So, I think that Usman fought smarter then. He wrestled more. I think that Leon Edwards went back, did his homework. Came back, took down Usman, mounted him. He showed a lot of improvement in that time frame, and I think he has done nothing but get better since then. Not that he wasn't good already, but I think he's done nothing but get better since that fight and since becoming the champion. And man, you put that belt on, and the confidence level rises, your training level rises, the money you're making rises, so what you can put into it.
Yeah.
It's very different once you get to that level.
I feel like Leon had a little bit of the same impact. You remember when we watched Aljo get the belt? When he defended, not when he got the belt, because that was sus, as my kids would say.
But when he came back.
But when he came back and just ran over Petr Yan for 5 rounds afterwards.
Yep.
And you and I were like, I don't know about Aljo. And then he just kept doing it. And I know
he came back, took down Henry Cejudo.
Yep.
A couple times.
Yeah.
And he was an Olympic gold medalist.
He's since lost his belt, but we were kind of looking at Aljo with a little bit of a side eye, and then we started getting slowly converted.
Right.
It doesn't sound like this is going to be the fight.
He didn't lose the belt, did he? He moved up to 45.
Maybe.
I think he left I think he vacated the belt.
That might be.
And then who's the kid that Lucas got to train with in Vegas? His Merab Dvalishvili is going to fight for the belt now. And they were best friends and weren't going to fight each other. So he moved to 45 now. But I don't think he lost
that might be right, actually.
the belt. He could have, but I don't know.
So you got Edwards on this.
I got Leon winning, not by decision, but it's possible.
I was just going to look up real quick. Anything to watch for? Any fun? I don't want to say props, but anything in this fight that, if it's boring,
his
watch for something.
striking's so clean. He has such great striking, knees, kicks, punches, elbows. Like he's very good. And again, his takedown defense has gotten good, and he's not bad on the ground. So I think he gives Bilal. He might lose the first round. He might lose the first round to Bilal, but once he makes that adjustment, he's going to come back and change that up real fast. So I think he pulls it off.
I was trying to see if Aljo lost, but it's I'm looking at the people that he fought.
What's that? Three fights ago?
Grappling matches. Mike Gundy grappling. Oh no, he lost to O'Malley.
Oh, that's right, O'Malley. Gosh, how did I forget that?
He lost to O'Malley.
O'Malley knocked him out.
Yeah.
And now O'Malley's the belt holder there. at 35, and Aljo moved up to 45. So now O'Malley's fighting Merab.
Yeah, O'Malley might be there for a little bit.
Yeah, he's a stud.
He's a stud.
He is.
He's a scary man.
People don't like him, but also people love him. I think he's still underestimated by everybody, and his striking is some of the best in the UFC, not just in the division, in the UFC.
And it's so hard because that guy's so freaking long.
Oh yeah, long.
5'11".
Fights very well with his range.
Yep.
Reads very well. Catches reads early. Makes adjustments early, and he ends up
It is all over.
putting people away.
5'11" with a 72-inch reach, fighting at 35.
Yeah,
It's a long dude.
yeah.
So cool. Well, I'm excited to see how these fights go.
Me too.
It'll be. I'm pulling for Molly, pulling for Patty, obviously. But we'll see. We'll see how things go.
Awesome. Thank you guys. We'll see you back next week to go over the results.